The setup involves two clear cups placed on a clean surface. One cup is initially empty, ready to receive liquid. The second cup is prepared to be filled with colored water for demonstration purposes. This simple setup is commonly used for basic fluid dynamics or color mixing experiments. A clear cup is prepared to receive the water. Water is carefully poured from a container. The pouring action is controlled to avoid spillage. The cup is gradually filled with water. The water level reaches approximately halfway up the cup. The process concludes when the desired water level is achieved. Food coloring is introduced into a water-based solution. The coloring agent is typically in liquid form for easy dispersion. Upon contact, the food coloring begins to dissolve into the water. This dissolution process causes the color to spread throughout the liquid. The water gradually takes on the hue of the food coloring as it mixes. The result is a uniformly colored solution, visually demonstrating the dissolving process. The process begins with a container of water. Food coloring is added to the water. A stirring rod is used to mix the water and food coloring. The stirring continues until the food coloring is evenly distributed. The result is a uniformly colored solution. A paper towel is selected as the material for preparation. The paper towel is laid flat on a surface. One long edge of the paper towel is grasped. The paper towel is folded lengthwise. The fold is pressed to create a crease. The result is a narrower strip of paper towel. A folded paper towel is used to demonstrate capillary action. One end of the folded paper towel is submerged in colored water. The colored water represents the liquid being drawn up through the paper towel. This setup initiates the process of capillary action within the paper towel's fibers. The paper towel acts as a medium for the water to travel against gravity. The experiment involves setting up two cups, one filled with liquid and the other empty. A paper towel is used as a connecting bridge between the two cups. One end of the paper towel is submerged into the cup containing the liquid. The opposite end of the paper towel is then placed inside the empty cup. This positioning creates a continuous pathway for the liquid to travel. The paper towel acts as a medium for capillary action, facilitating the transfer of liquid from one cup to the other. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without the assistance of, or even in opposition to, external forces like gravity. This phenomenon is readily observable when a paper towel is partially submerged in water. The water begins to be drawn upwards into the paper towel. This upward movement defies gravity, showcasing capillary action. The water visibly climbs within the paper towel's fibrous structure. This process continues until equilibrium is reached, demonstrating the principles of capillary action. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without the assistance of, or even in opposition to, external forces like gravity. This phenomenon occurs due to the intermolecular forces between the liquid and the surrounding solid surfaces. In a paper towel, water molecules are attracted to the cellulose fibers, causing the water to move upwards against gravity. The close proximity of the fibers creates a narrow space, enhancing the capillary action and allowing water to spread through the towel. Absorption occurs when a substance takes in another substance. Paper towels absorb water through a process driven by cohesive and adhesive forces. Cohesive forces bind water molecules to each other. Adhesive forces attract water molecules to the cellulose fibers in the paper towel. Colored water defies gravity by ascending a paper towel. This upward movement is due to capillary action. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces. This flow occurs against the force of gravity. The paper towel's fibers create these narrow spaces, facilitating water's upward climb. The water ascends through the paper towel. Capillary action and cohesion drive the water's upward movement. The water molecules adhere to the paper towel fibers. Water molecules cohere to each other, pulling the stream upwards. The water reaches the highest point of the paper towel bridge. A paper towel is used as a medium to demonstrate capillary action. One end of the paper towel is placed in colored water. The other end is suspended over an empty cup. Capillary action causes the colored water to move up the paper towel. The water travels against gravity due to intermolecular forces. Eventually, the colored water drips into the empty cup. The water source provides a continuous flow of liquid. This flow manifests as a steady drip. The dripping water gradually accumulates. This accumulation leads to the gradual filling of a container. Initially, two connected containers have different water levels. Water flows from the container with the higher level to the one with the lower level. This flow is driven by the pressure difference between the two containers. The pressure difference causes a net movement of water molecules. The water transfer continues until the water levels in both containers are equal. At equilibrium, the pressure is the same in both containers, stopping the flow. The water transfer process achieves stability. This stabilization is directly related to the pressure difference. As the pressure difference decreases, the transfer stabilizes. Diminished pressure differential leads to a stable water transfer state. The paper towel is initially dry and absorbent. Colored water is introduced to the paper towel. The paper towel absorbs the colored water. The paper towel reaches full saturation with the colored water. Paper towels consist of a network of interwoven fibers. These fibers are primarily made of cellulose. Water molecules adhere to the cellulose fibers. This adhesion enables paper towels to absorb liquids. Cohesive forces are intermolecular forces that cause similar molecules to be attracted to each other. In water, cohesion is due to hydrogen bonds between water molecules. These hydrogen bonds create a strong attraction, holding water molecules together. This cohesion is responsible for water's high surface tension and its ability to form droplets. Adhesive forces are attractive forces between dissimilar molecules. These forces cause one substance to stick to another. In the case of a paper towel, adhesive forces occur between water molecules and cellulose fibers. This attraction allows the paper towel to absorb water. Surface tension is the tendency of liquid surfaces to minimize their area. This phenomenon arises from cohesive forces between liquid molecules. Molecules at the surface experience a net inward force, creating tension. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without assistance. It occurs due to the interplay of cohesive and adhesive forces. Adhesion to the container walls pulls the liquid upwards, while surface tension maintains its integrity. Water molecules exhibit polarity due to their structure. Polar molecules have a slightly positive end and a slightly negative end. Cellulose fibers also possess polar characteristics. The polarity of water molecules causes them to be attracted to the polar cellulose fibers. Capillary action allows liquids to flow in narrow spaces against gravity. This phenomenon occurs due to intermolecular forces between the liquid and surrounding solid surfaces. When these adhesive forces are stronger than the cohesive forces within the liquid, it climbs. Therefore, water can ascend in a tube due to stronger capillary forces overcoming gravity. Paper towels serve as a medium for liquid absorption. This absorption is facilitated by the towel structure. The material contains tiny spaces or pores. These spaces allow water to travel through the towel. This capillary action enables the towel to soak up liquids. The effectiveness is due to the porous nature of the paper fibers. A water molecule, H2O, consists of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. These atoms are covalently bonded, sharing electrons to form a stable molecule. The molecule has a bent shape due to the 2 lone pairs of electrons on the oxygen atom. This bent shape and the electronegativity difference between oxygen and hydrogen create a polar molecule. Cellulose fibers are the primary structural component of many plant-based materials. These fibers are long, chain-like molecules composed of glucose units. In materials like paper towels, cellulose fibers form a complex, interwoven network. This network provides strength, flexibility, and absorbent properties. The arrangement of these fibers determines the texture and durability of the material. Close examination reveals the intricate structure responsible for the material's characteristics. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without the assistance of, or even in opposition to, external forces like gravity. This experiment demonstrates capillary action using different liquids, such as alcohol, to observe variations in their behavior. Different liquids exhibit varying degrees of capillary action due to differences in their surface tension and adhesive properties. Liquids with lower surface tension and higher adhesive forces tend to exhibit greater capillary action. Alcohol, for example, typically shows different capillary action compared to water due to its lower surface tension. By observing the height to which each liquid rises in a narrow tube, the differences in capillary action can be visually compared. Different paper towel brands and types exhibit varying absorption rates. Absorption rate is a key factor in determining a paper towel's effectiveness. Thicker and multi-layered paper towels generally absorb more liquid. Textured surfaces on paper towels can also enhance their absorption capabilities. Temperature influences the kinetic energy of water molecules. Increased temperature leads to higher kinetic energy and faster molecular motion. Faster molecular motion enhances the rate of water movement. Therefore, water moves more rapidly at higher temperatures. Humidity refers to the amount of water vapor present in the air. High humidity can introduce excess moisture into experimental setups. This excess moisture can alter reaction rates or introduce unwanted reactions. Changes in humidity can affect the properties of materials used in experiments. For example, some materials may absorb moisture, leading to swelling or changes in conductivity. Therefore, controlling and monitoring humidity is crucial for accurate and reproducible experimental results. The density of a paper towel is a key factor influencing its water absorption capacity. Denser paper towels generally have a greater capacity to hold water. This is because denser materials have less space. The material can hold more water. Viscosity is a measure of a fluid's resistance to flow. Differents liquids exhibit different viscosity. Water has a specific viscosity value at a given temperature. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces against gravity. A liquid's viscosity affects its capillary action. Lower viscosity generally allows for greater capillary action. Capillary action is defined as a liquid's capability to flow within narrow spaces. This flow occurs without the need for external forces. Capillary action can even work against forces like gravity. It is crucial in various natural phenomena. This action is vital for fluid transport in plants and porous materials. It also plays a key role in many industrial applications. Capillary action is observable in various natural phenomena. One prominent example is the process of water uptake in plants. Water travels from the roots to the leaves via capillary action within the plant's xylem. This process defies gravity, enabling water and nutrient transport. Capillary action is essential for plant survival and growth. Water absorption in plants begins in the roots. Absorbed water must then be transported to the leaves. This transport relies on capillary action. Capillary action is the movement of liquid through narrow spaces. This movement occurs against the force of gravity. It allows water to travel from the roots to the leaves. Capillary action is a critical process for water distribution within soil. It allows water to move upwards against gravity through small soil pores. This upward movement is driven by adhesive and cohesive forces. Adhesion occurs between water molecules and soil particles. Cohesion occurs between water molecules themselves. The combined effect ensures water reaches plant roots and sustains soil moisture. Capillary action is utilized across various industrial applications. It is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without the assistance of, and in opposition to, external forces like gravity. This phenomenon is crucial in processes such as inkjet printing, where ink is delivered through tiny nozzles. It also plays a role in wicking systems for cooling electronic components, and in certain types of microfluidic devices. Ink absorption in paper is primarily driven by capillary action. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces against the force of gravity. The porous structure of paper provides these narrow spaces, facilitating ink penetration. This process results in the ink spreading through the paper fibers. Capillary blood collection is a method used to obtain small blood samples for medical testing. This technique involves puncturing the skin to draw blood from capillaries. Common puncture sites include the finger, in adults, and the heel, in infants. The collected blood is then used for various diagnostic tests. These tests can help in monitoring glucose levels, assessing blood cell counts, and performing other analyses. Capillary blood collection is a less invasive alternative to venipuncture. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without the assistance of, or even in opposition to, external forces like gravity. This effect is crucial in microfluidic devices, where channels are typically very small, micrometer scale. Capillary action is driven by the combination of cohesive forces within the liquid and adhesive forces between the liquid and the channel walls. The balance of these forces determines the extent to which a liquid will be drawn into a microchannel, facilitating fluid transport and manipulation. Blotting paper is designed to absorb excess liquids. The porous structure of the paper facilitates rapid liquid absorption. It is commonly used to manage excess oil on skin. Blotting paper can also be used in cosmetic applications. It helps maintain a matte finish by removing surface oils. Towels absorb water through a process called capillary action. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without the assistance of, or even in opposition to, external forces like gravity. The fibers in a towel create small spaces or capillaries. Water molecules are attracted to the towel fibers due to adhesive forces. Cohesive forces between water molecules also contribute to the upward movement within the towel. These forces combined allow the towel to draw water away from a surface, effectively drying it. Sponges are highly porous materials, capable of absorbing large amounts of water. This absorption is primarily driven by capillary action. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without the assistance of, and in opposition to, external forces like gravity. The porous structure of a sponge provides a network of interconnected narrow spaces. Water molecules are attracted to the sponge material through adhesive forces. These adhesive forces, combined with the cohesive forces between water molecules, draw water into and throughout the sponge's structure. Filter paper is a semi-permeable paper barrier. It is used to separate fine, solid particles from liquids or gases. The separation process relies on capillary action within the paper structure. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces. This flow occurs against the force of gravity. Filter paper is widely used in chemistry and biology labs. Chromatography separates compounds based on their differential affinity for a stationary and mobile phase. Capillary action drives the mobile phase through a porous medium. Different compounds travel at varying rates due to interactions with the stationary phase. This differential movement leads to the separation of compounds into distinct bands or spots. The separated compounds can then be identified and analyzed. Wicking fabrics are specifically engineered to manage moisture. These fabrics actively draw moisture away from the skin. The moisture is then transported to the outer surface of the material. This process facilitates rapid evaporation. The result is enhanced comfort by keeping the wearer dry. Wicking fabrics are commonly used in athletic wear and outdoor clothing. Paper chromatography is an analytical technique used to separate and identify different components in a mixture. The technique relies on the principle of differential migration of substances based on their affinity for the stationary and mobile phases. A small amount of the sample is spotted onto a chromatography paper, which serves as the stationary phase. The edge of the paper is then placed in a solvent, mobile phase, which travels up the paper by capillary action. As the solvent moves, it carries the different components of the sample at varying rates, leading to their separation. This visualization demonstrates liquid movement. The liquid is shown flowing through a porous material. Porous materials contain interconnected void spaces. Liquids move through these spaces due to pressure and capillary action. The visualization aids in understanding fluid dynamics in such materials. Porous materials contain interconnected voids, allowing fluids to penetrate and be retained within their structure. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without the assistance of, and in opposition to, external forces like gravity. In porous materials, capillary action is driven by the surface tension of the liquid and the adhesive forces between the liquid and the solid material. The smaller the pores, the greater the capillary force, leading to increased liquid absorption and retention. This phenomenon is crucial in various applications, including water absorption in soils, wicking in textiles, and fluid transport in biological systems. The experiment successfully demonstrated the principles of capillary action. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without the assistance of, or even in opposition to, external forces like gravity. This phenomenon is due to the intermolecular forces between the liquid and the surrounding solid surfaces. Adhesion, the attraction between liquid molecules and the solid surface, plays a crucial role. Cohesion, the attraction between the liquid molecules themselves, also contributes to the effect. The balance between adhesive and cohesive forces determines the extent of capillary action observed.